I'm here with Sean Bain and Gus Bruna of Curb Appeals, and they are contractors in this area that I've worked with many times. This is one of the projects we're sitting on right now that we're working on together. Sean and Gus are partners in this construction company, and Gus is kind of the boots on the ground manager, and Sean is like managing all the purchasing and all the trades and everything else that comes through the business. So, and the clients. So today we're going to ask them about expediting a project. Are you okay with a homeowner living in the house during a remodel? Talk to me about pros and cons and how this kind of affects the schedule.
So living in the house, we don't I mean, it's obviously nicer when the homeowner's not in the house, but we do like them to check in because we want them to check in so that everything's running as the things start to go together. You know, we want to have some of their input, but living in the house is not the worst thing. We usually try to make a space for them to give them a little bit of comfort, whether it's a coffee maker, a fridge, you know, and close that room off so that, and even if you have a second entrance, so we can leave that just for the homeowner. Mm-hmm. It gives them that comfort of being in their house, especially when you've got so many people coming into the house that you're not familiar with. So that, it's not the end of the world, but it definitely expedites it when we don't have any restrictions on our schedule, because we have different trades that are coming in that maybe one trade had an issue, had a problem. We're all human, things come up, so it allows us to get another trade in a short notice. But if we have to dance around a homeowner's schedule because they don't want us in the house or we're restricted to time frame, it's definitely helpful when we can get another trade in at any time of the day.
Right. Okay. Well, talk to me about scheduling trades and about the value of lumping sort of the work for one trade at one time or two times or whatever. I know I have a hard time, and I know my homeowners do sometimes, with walking onto a job and seeing something that's not being attended to or not done yet and thinking, well, they could at least go work on that today. But in actuality, you know, that may require a trade that's actually needing to be on another part of the job, and it's much more efficient and much more cost effective to get everything done at one time for that trade. So that part is waiting for the other part to be done. And I probably didn't explain that very well, but y'all want to talk about that?
You actually explained it pretty well. It's just that until you see the final product, you don't really see all the steps of construction. Like you said, there's places that it's not going to look like it's being attended to, but it's just because it's waiting for that extra. And when we're trying to lay the floor, if we want to lay tile, first we have to float the concrete to make sure it's level. We have the material on site and everything, but we got to make sure that that floating cures. And so there's different steps through the job site that require for the contractor to be able to manage the different subcontractors timely to get the job done.
Right, and oftentimes those are, y'all just go about those in a normal day, so you don't think about maybe telling the homeowner, well, we have to wait for this, and explaining all that, so homeowners can kind of jump to conclusions sometimes with thinking, well, they could be doing that, why aren't they doing that, you know? And so communication's a big deal, right?
Big deal.
Y'all want to talk about communication a little bit with clients?
Well, and that's what, I mean, in any relationship, all relationships, communication's the biggest deal. At least if you're communicating, you might not have communicated correctly, but if you keep communicating, you're gonna make progress. Everybody's gonna make progress. You're gonna know where we're going, what we're doing. At the end of the day, Gus is great at saying, you know, talking to the homeowner, you know, we've got this, and this going on the next day. That's what Gus and I usually have a powwow in the morning. We try to have some in the evening, and what's progressing that next day,
or for the next week, or whatever space of time that we have, to make sure that between both of us, we figured out all the contractors, all the materials that need to come at the timely manner and get the job done.
And then of course the biggest thing is, I mean, having our material ahead of time, which a lot of homeowners, you know, they get anxious and they want to get started and let's go, 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 but we don't have certain material available. One small piece of material off can put a 2-week turn on a job, where if you're missing one piece of material, now you've delayed a plumber and you've delayed a tile setter. That delay, now it spins them to another job, and that could be a 2-week delay just on a small piece of trim that didn't match color or we didn't have in time. So having all your material selected, available, is key to expediting your job as fast as possible.
Right. And to that end, good planning, because if some of the material selections have not been made prior to the job starting, and then you're even waiting on selections, which kind of can get bogged down sometimes, right? So that can even take a job out even further. So having all that decided on, because things are going to come up regardless on jobs, we find. I mean, sometimes you can't help that a tile might get discontinued or a wood floor might get discontinued or something in the process. So we all have to make allowances for that. But yeah, just getting as much done ahead of time is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having a project actually designed and specified allows us the best chance to keep that job rolling smooth, because we've already determined what materials, we determined the look, and all those usually fall into place. Sure, you might have a couple hiccups, but if you've actually spent that time ahead of time to design the whole project, then the project goes a whole lot smoother.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Good. Well, thank you very much for talking with us today. We'll be back to maybe chat some more.
Right on.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks.
Good luck with your remodel.
Bye.